Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again with another Market Watch Investments video for you guys tonight. Getting things kick-started, we're going to begin with Plague Spreader Zombie, one of these amazing, classic, very nostalgic, old-school tuner zombie monsters. This is the highest rarity that we have here in the TCG as an ultimate rare. And this card has seen some pretty insane price values of late, so we're going to go ahead and dip into this. Unlimited starting price is going to be about 18, 19 bones. There's no first editions on the first page, only 3 pages here on the market. And no first editions on the second page. We get our first editions on the third and final page. Starting market price for the first edition is 106 bones. Incredible, ladies and gentlemen. This card has maintained / exponentially increased its value. It's been a couple of videos since I reviewed this, but this is one of my all-time favorite tuner monsters. I'm a really avid zombie player, and this artwork doesn't really do it justice. The ultimate rares look very gorgeous. This photo is just kind of a little degraded, and it's kind of hard to see the artwork, but in the in person with the real cards, it looks very, very nice. So this is holding some really great value, and I don't really think anyone's going to be paying this price point. I mean, Plague Spreader is very nostalgic, and it's a great tuner, and, you know, it's just awesome. Generic stuff. A lot of great history behind this, great rarity, great artwork. It is really overpriced right now, mostly because it's just, there's just not a lot on the market. So I really think that's the justification for this fat price tag for this card. Next is going to be Tornado Dragon. This is a Twin Twister, more like a MST on legs. A lot of great rarities. We have the OG original secrets from Maximum Crisis, as well as the Battles of Legends, Relentless Revenge as a mirror copy, amazing secret rare. I personally have the reprinted copies, but again, we can go ahead and dip into price comparisons depending on the price differentiations. You can factor in your own rules, player's preference, and which printing you want to get. Really wouldn't be too concerned about this Ultra. The Ultra really doesn't look that bad. I'm not a big fan of Ultra. It's always going to be inferior to the Secret Rare prints, and the Secret Rare prints are not even that expensive, so I wouldn't even waste your time on the Ultra, at least at this time in the game state. But looking at the original versions, OG prints dawning from Maximum Crisis, which ideally would be the most expensive and the best prints to get, there's a solo stack first edition here for about 4 bones, and then there's another one here for about 4 bones. Again, these are just single stacks, so if you don't have this card, I would definitely recommend trying to get it in stacks. At least get from like 3 to 9 copies of this, preferably original first edition prints, but no harm against going for the secret reprints as well. Very, very great rarities as well. And there's really just a majority of these are just 1 stacks, and they're roughly around $4 or $5, and there's 5+ pages on the market, so you guys can dip into that later on if you want. Plenty of availability there. So if it's like around 4-ish, 3 for the original first edition prints, which is very, very affordable. I'm really curious to see what the secret reprints are, which I definitely would not disregard this by any means. It's still very much a secret rare, and even though it's a reprint, Battles of Legends Relentless Revenge is not terribly old, but it's also not like, you know, just right behind us as well. So, and these are like $2, so these are significantly cheaper. It's literally like a little less than half price. So this is going to be some White Mexican theory for you guys. When a reprint of the same rarity, kind of like the old school Megatins, how they used to reprint the same cards in the same rarity, when you can get pretty much double the quantity for the original price or the current active market price of the original OG prints, I would say get the reprint versions, specifically for first editions exclusively, that are the same rarity. So in this example, the Battles of Legends secret reprints first editions are about $2, whereas the original prints are about $4 or $5. So might as well just go ahead and get these, in my honest opinion. I would have no shame in getting this version. This actually is the version I personally have. There's actually less on the market for this as well, only 4 pages. There's unfortunately not really a lot of stacks though, so that's kind of something you have to look out for as well. So if we keep on moving in here, here's a 10 stack for a little over $2, so this is going to be like the first fast stack on the market for this version, but it's definitely something to consider. Next is going to be Twister. Now, I know this card is completely inferior to MST. MST literally double stacks against this 2-1. And the only reason why I'm even reviewing this card is because it's an old school ultimate rare from Strike of Neos. It's got relatively cool artwork. Again, this is kind of a faded photograph. It makes it really hard, but I actually have an alternate first version of this. Unfortunately, it's like it was kind of a throw-in that I got in a collection. I don't really remember, but it's extremely like bad condition. But it is an ultimate in first, and it kind of got me to thinking about this card, about potentially being collector's value. Not really out of like history or playability or anything. It's just that again, Strike of Neos is an extremely ancient set, and it's just an old school ultimate rare. And all across the board, even for like really crappy ultimate rares that have good artwork, they're holding some kind of collector's value. Right now, for the first edition prints of this, as the highest rarities as ultimate rares, it's going for about 5-6, as you can see here. Really not a lot of fat stacks. These are single stacks, and there's only 2 pages on the market. So it's kind of up to you guys. This card used to be cheaper too, so it's had a very small fluctuation in price increases, but it's just, again, a card that no one really talks about for good reason. It's really not a playable card when we have stuff like Twin Twisters and Mystical Space Typhoon and Tornado Dragon, like I showcased, and like Heavy Storm Duster and all this crazy stuff. But on its own merit alone, I think it's a pretty cool card for collectability. Next is going to be Cosmic Cyclone. So some pretty great prints. Of course, we have the OTS 7 Ultimate Rare holding some great price values. I would more specifically prefer the Secret Rare versions. Let's go ahead and look at the original OG print, Dawning from the Dark Illusion. This card used to be insane amounts of money back in, was it the True Draco format, I believe? And just amazing name, amazing artwork, amazing rarity. For what it is, it definitely has to be in the right defining meta. It's definitely lost favor with players over the years just because the meta is constantly changing and it just falls out of favor. It's been a very long time since I've seen any players actually run this card, but it is still a really great card to have. And unfortunately, it has been going up. It used to be extremely cheap. Like several months ago, I picked these up for, I don't even remember. I think it was maybe like $3. And we're talking about like near mint first editions, OG prints, and now they're going for about 8-9ish bones. Majorities are single stacks, and there's only 3 pages on the market, and then it bottoms out at around 11 or so towards the end. So really, in retrospective, there's not a lot of availability for this card, at least for this version. 3 pages, and it's roughly around 9-ish bones. Really quick, let's go ahead and take a look at the, I think what was it, the 2017 Megatins, or 2017 Megatins? Yeah, 2017 Megatin Secret reprints. So again, White Mexican Theory, let's crunch some numbers here. If the original OG Secret prints, same rarity, same edition, are about 9, let's go ahead and see what the Secret Rare reprint mirrors are. They're about 6. So they're only about $3 less in this standpoint. So since they're not half, the reduction of half price of the original versions or less, I wouldn't recommend. This is kind of where I kind of break even on my recommendation. I would just go ahead and invest into the original prints if you want to. But right now really isn't a good, because they're like 9-10 bones, when literally just a couple months ago they were like 4 or 5, so literally half price. So I don't know why no one's using this card that I'm aware of. I don't know why it's doubled in price value, at least for the OG prints, but this is definitely a good card to have. This is one of those cards that I've stocked up on. I have several copies of this just because it ran so low. So I would monitor this card and be aware when it runs low and scoop it up when it's low. Next is going to be Jar of Greed. I love this card. They're actually, crazily enough, there is some builds I actually run a playset of this with like Reckless Greed and like One Day Apiece and Upstart and Pot of Duality and a whole bunch of draw power stuff. This is more for collector's value though. The majority for it being literally part of Generation 1, Duel Monsters era, Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh!, Labyrinth of Nightmare is the Dawning set. Extremely ancient. Amazing artwork. Of course, I'm talking about first edition because I'm walking into this card with collector's value in mind, and you always go first edition. lightly played near mint for pretty much anything, but more specifically, especially with collectors. Absolutely zero, fat zero for first edition prints on the first page. Only 3 pages of this card left on the market. And the first edition we get here is a 2-stack for about 14 bones. There's a 1-stack here for 1430. And then the final page, there is a couple more, just a handful more here. And it bottoms all the way out to about 46 at the very end. So very, very limited quantities. It has seen some price decrease. The last time I reviewed this card several weeks ago, I would think it was a little bit more expensive, but there was a little less on the market. Whereas now I think people realize that, oh, like this card is worth money, and they started to like kind of do some quick cash and start not flooding the market. This card's too old to really flood the market. The people that have these, the really nice condition first edition ones, are collectors, and they're just pretty much holding on to them, waiting for this card to just hit obscene numbers, which is already, the last time I think it was like around, like roughly around the same for like the bottom up price. It was like 50 or so, 50 plus for the, there really just wasn't that many on the market though. So it's kind of crazy, but I think this is a really, really great card for collectors market. Next is going to be Upstart Goblin. I dip in and out of this all the time. I'm an avid fan of the Secret Slayers reprints. There has been just crazy price fluctuation in this card. Of course, the Turbo Pack 8 is always hold a fat price point. It looks really great, and it's a collector's card, and it's definitely the best rarity, hardest to get and everything. You can't neglect the ultra rare. Again, I'm not really a big fan of ultra rares. I kind of make a silly joke about bagging on ultra rares all the time. There's a very select group of ultra rares that I actually participate in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's pretty much like Dual Terminals, Duelist Saga, Gen 1, like talking about like Dual Monsters era, like Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh first edition collector's cards, and sometimes like Shonen Jumps promos and stuff. So anyway, but this looks very good. I personally have invested for several years now. This is dawning out of Legendary Collection 3. Legendary Collection 3 and 4, I'm kind of like obsessed with those sets. I do a little featuring here and there of those sets like all the time because I'm just an avid fan. Those sets are just like crazy fire value. There's so many amazing cards in so many great rarities. So I'd really check out both Legendary Collections 3 and 4 whenever you guys have time if you want. And this card used to be like $15. I think the highest I've ever seen it was like $20. And then for the longest time it was at like $15. And right now it looks like it's only sitting at about like $6 or $5 or so. So let's just go ahead and do a little quick showcasing of the Ultra, which looks very nice. I'm not really sure why, but the golden foiling in the name in this just looks really great with the artwork. I'm not really sure why. Maybe I'm just biased because I just really like this card in general. I really like the artwork. So yeah, first editions are about 6 bones. Here's a 2-stack here, and it's pretty much just 6 bones across the board. 5+ pages on the market, so plenty of availability here. But what I want to talk about again more specifically, which I have been talking about since Secret Slayers was released, which was not that long ago. Secret Slayers is still a very relatively new set, is of course the super rare reprint. Of course, this was the 3rd holo foiling that we got of this card. The first was a Turbo Pack 8, and then we got shortly after the Ultra Rare from Legendary Collections 3. And then a few months ago, we got the second super rare reprint, which has, of course, the new gen updated foiling, where the spell attribute star symbol thing is holo foil. So it's all around updated. And I believe is it also, I don't know if I know it's for secret rares. Well, anyway, I'm sorry, I kind of had a lapse of memory there. But anyway, this is still a really, really great card, and I know this card is at 1 right now. I'm a firm believer that everything on the Forbidden and Limited list gets lifted eventually. It's just a matter of fact if Konami decides if they want a rat cards or not. And this is a really great investment. I personally, when Secret Slayers first dropped, I paid a little under 2 bones, around roughly 2 bones. I got like I think 40+ copy of these near mint first edition, like right off the press, right when this set dropped. And they're still roughly around a little bit over just a little bit over $2, 2 bones a piece. And you can see there's really not a lot of fat stacks. There used to be like 40s and 50s and like a lot of like just like multiple stacks of this card. On the first page here, you can see like the biggest stack is like a 5 here. And then if we go to the second page, there's just really not a lot. Here's a 14 stack here. And they're all roughly around 2 bones. So that's been the standard price for this card. This card has not fluctuated really at all ever since the release of Secret Slayers. But I'm promising you guys, this is something I feel very, very adamantly about. Upstart Goblin is just an all-around generic, amazing draw power card. It's at 1 right now. I definitely think it has potential to come back to 3. I don't know when, but I am an avid believer that it eventually will be fully unlocked, and it'll go to 3, which just makes your potential 40 card deck a 37 card deck. And it's got amazing artwork, amazing history. It's an extremely old card, but still has extreme great synergy. There isn't a single deck that I can think of where I don't run at least the max quantity of this card that you can run. It's just perfect draw power for any deck. I also feel very adamantly about 1 day apiece as well, which really quick, I want to look up. Normally I don't do this, but because there's just, I believe so much in this card and 1 day apiece as just generic draw cards that are just so good in like really any deck. Is there really only 2 versions of this card? That's really insane. It's really sad there's not a photo. Photon Shockwave original, commons, and of course OTS 4 down the super rares. This was another huge investment for me. I don't even remember back when I was in Japan, so at least over a year ago now, I invested in several copies of this, and these were like $1, a little over $1, maybe $1.50 back in, I don't even remember when this was. Maybe it was like early 2019, late 2018. And now they're still relatively cheap. They're like 3-ish bones, $4. There's not really a lot of stacks here. Only 3 pages on the market. But again, this is just generic, amazing draw power. This card is so good too. It's at 1 too. Like, these cards are good. That's why they're at 1. There's a lot of viability. There's a lot of diversity in these cards. And I don't really run decks without having a 1 day apiece and Upstart Goblins. So I think you guys should really take a look at that if you want to. Next is going to be Dark World Dealings. There's some amazing prints of this. Of course, there is the amazing OG print, Ultimate Rare, Dawning Out Strike and Neos. Again, just an insanely ancient set that has a lot of awesome Ultimate Rares. This, again, kind of going with the theme of draw power. I'm a huge adamant fan of draw power. Like, you need to have draw power. I love turbo decks where you can just, like, search and pitch and draw, and there's a lot of great combos and synergy behind the mechanics of them. You just can't put a price value on draw power. You need to get your resources, and I love drawing in this game, and draw power cards are just essential for me personally, and I think for a lot of players. I think it's safe to say. And Unlimited's here, going for about $45. This has always been a relatively expensive card. It's seen an extreme drought on the market. There's only a single page here. There's a 9 stack as the highest, but they're unlimited. So I mean, because this card is so expensive, I guess I could see potential players seeing this as desirable as the unlimited. But if you're gonna go ultimate rare, I mean, you might as well go all out. Here's only 4 ultimate rare first edition versions here, and they're starting at around 52, and they bottom out at 70. And I'm really surprised that 70 is the highest price point, literally with there only being 4 copies of first editions on the market, because this is, again, just an amazing generic draw card that is like amazing with Dark World and Shaddolls and Burning Abyss and a lot of just really great fan favorite Fnatic decks. Really quickly, I do want to take a look. There is, I think, 3 different versions of reprints as super rares, and they're very cheap too. They're going for about 3-ish, 4, I think, for the first editions. Personally, I would go for the Strike and Neos original OG super rares, same set from the Ultimate Rare. Of course, Infamous Great Legendary Collection 4, Dawn to super rare, and then we got a Mystic Fighter super rare, which is insane cheap. It's like $1, it looks like. I'm not going to dip too far into that, but those are going to be healthy alternatives. But I would definitely recommend the original super rare print, first editions, lightly played, or better, because again, I was buying this card all day long for like 4 and 5, and I thought I was lucky picking up copies, first editions for 4 or 5 all day long. And when I was in Japan, I picked so many copies of this card up off the site because I don't know if you guys know, but I'm an avid Dark World player. Dark World is, I like Cookie Cutter Chaos, like back in the day. Like, I'm a really old school player. Like, I used to play like a long time ago, like, back in like 2002 era, and then all the way pretty much stopped playing. Rise of Destiny was like one of the last core sets that was like hot stuff when I left. But anyway, Dark World was one of my first loves. It was probably my first serious deck that I got. I came back in the game after graduating from high school in 2011, summer 2011, and Dark World was kind of an affordable, relatively easy deck to pilot, and it was just really fun. And when the structure deck Gates of the Underworld came out, it was just it literally just completely changed the game state for this deck core. And I'm actually going to review it later on, so I'm going to go over some of these cards later on because I love Dark World, and it's been a really long time since I've featured Dark World stuff, more specifically on a broader expanse. So right here, this is like, this first edition right here is like barely at $2. So that right there is insane. This is a steal. I would definitely cop this up. Right here, this is so I was wrong. These are not even $3. These are literally like $2. This is insane. These are first edition OG prints of this card, and they're like $2. There's the thing with this card, because it's so cheap, of course you want to find some stacks. So really quickly, I'm just going to go ahead and click this 3 or more, just to kind of give you guys a preview of the price fluctuations. So it's about $2 for like the single stacks. If you want to like cop in on free shipping and all that, here's a 4 stack from Core TCG. This is an amazing seller. They never mess up orders. They're always super accurate with their conditionings and rarities, and it's really great. It's 4 bones, which still, anything under 5 bones or around 5 bones or under for this card for original first edition supers, I think is phenomenal, because this card has amazing artwork, has amazing history, and it's so generic. It pretty much works in so many really big, popular, fan favorite decks, and I don't know, I just have so much praise for this card. Next is going to be Droll and Lockbird. So this card is at an alarming decreased price at $7. I know that there's a crazy fat high price tag ultimate rare. I would really like this card to get reprinted. This card is so good. I'm so upset that this card has not been given the honor of a secret rare reprint. I'm still an avid believer that, and I'm still holding on to the hope that Konami is going to reprint this in secret rare and eventually in one of these crazy reprint sets, because this card needs a secret rare. This is one of the best hand traps. I mean, my personal theory, like Maxi, forever and always the best hand trap, then Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and then Droll and Lockbird is like right there, top 3, top tier for sure. It's just a really, really great card. Has great artwork. I really like, this is my favorite version. I like the ultimate rare, but it's just been expensive and it always will be expensive. So for the price of this and the affordability of this is definitely my go-to version of the card. Standing here, there is a 3 stack right here for $7. I do not think that this is going to last long at all, seeing how it is a play set of quantity and it is the cheapest on the market. And there's 5+ pages, so there's plenty of availability here. I've seen this card go up to like 20, 15. It's kind of like it averages, and then like around 10. Now it's gone all the way down to 7. I really, really want to get this card around 5. I've been saying it for so long that like 5 is like my target value for this card. So kind of debating if I want to pick these up or not. I think that these first couple ones are a really great deal, more specifically this one, because it is a playset stack. So really quickly, I wanted to take note, the 2017 Megatons, Elder Entity Nis, this is like a super rare promo, and I think this is a solo print, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so it's a solo prayer tin promo, and it's going for relatively good value. For 2017 Megatons were relatively awful. I don't think they were as awful as the 2018 Megatons. That was basically like the ultimate shaffing of Konami disasters, in my opinion, in quite a while, but this is holding great value. It's for like a tin promo. It's like 4-ish, 5 bones. there's 66 stacks, so that's really going to throw a wrench in a lot of people's sales. But there's 5+ pages, so definitely a lot on the market. But this is a really cool card, really great artwork, and the biggest thing is it's a solo print. This is the only way you can get this card. So I just wanted to showcase that really quick because I thought it was holding pretty good value, like sell value for being a tin promo, but also more specifically what got me into wanting to showcase the 2017 Mega Tins was the tin promo secret rare version of Dark Magician, which is right here. Now there is several versions of this artwork specifically available to us here in the TCG, but this is the only one that has the high rarity of secret rare. This is one of my all-time favorite rarities, probably the second favorite rarity of Dark Magician. My favorite rarity is actually like the original 2002 era like Starter Deck Yugi ultra rares, which look just gorgeous. A lot of nostalgia value behind that artwork. This looks really great though. There's just something about it, I don't know, with like the whole like magic circle going around, the way he's holding the staff, the tip hat, and just the glance. And I just really like this artwork a lot. And for being a tin promo, relatively new. I mean, this is only, this tin promo is only about 3-ish, going on 3-4 years old now. It's really hasn't gone up. It's still relatively cheap. It's still like around $2, which rightfully so. I mean, 2017 wasn't that long ago. These were just like sold in abundance. A lot of people still have these. I personally picked up several of these. I'm holding them. But just something about this card. If you look at like the 2002, 2003, 2004, like Jinzo tins and all the original Gen 1 tins and like, Gen 2 tins and all that stuff, the secret rare tin promos of like the old school boss monsters are going for really good collector's value. And this is definitely a very long term investment, but I think that this has great potential to increase over time, specifically for this version. All right, so next is going to be Mech Knights. So there was another YouTuber who added me on Facebook and messaged me, and he made this suggestion for me to cover Mech Knight Purple Nightfall and Mech Knight Blue Sky. He does have his own YouTube channel. He recently created his own YouTube and he does his own content. His name is OTK Machines, spelled with a Z at the end. A really great guy, really friendly, really nice. I love... At the end of all my videos, I ask all you guys to message me, reach out to me on Facebook. I love the community of this game. I love the brotherhood. I love the friendship. I want your recommendations. I want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! With you guys. So thank you, OTS Machines, for reaching out and giving me this amazing recommendation. This part's for you, brother. I really appreciate it. And I would love to get recommendations from any of you guys because this is what this is all about. I am just a producer. I just push out content. I just push out communication to whoever is willing to listen to my content. And that is the value that I get from this channel. So with that being said, Mech Knight Purple Fall, it has, as he said, it's had some great price increases. So if you guys are trying to build Mech Knights, maybe right now is potentially a good time. This has had some pretty crazy price fluctuations here. Of course, there's two secret rare versions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the OG prints from Dawning Out of Extreme Force. For Purple Knight, it looks like the average point was roughly around 16, and they've been pretty much cut in half here on the price value. First editions are going to be about 11. So 11, yeah, about 11 across the board for the first editions, and then there's 5+ pages of that. So let's go ahead and let's look at the 2018, the Mega Crap tins of that terrible year. And so it's about 11 for the original prints, and for the Megatin reprints, same rarity, same edition, it's going to be about 2-ish bones. So this is definitely not worth it. You definitely want to pay the extra $2 and go ahead and get the original prints. Let's go ahead and take a look really quick at, is it Blue Sky? I've never played Mech Knights. I'm not really even familiar with their mechanics or how they're piloted. I've never built the deck personally, but it's kind of cool. I like how they kind of like, don't they change like monster zones and all that craziness. Really cool artwork too. They have really cool artwork, which I'm all about artwork. Artwork is a really big deal for me. All right, so Blue Sky. This is going to be the original prints from Extreme Force. Really great artwork. I love these. Like, remind me of like the Halo energy swords. Did you guys ever play Halo and like sneak up and stab people in the back with energy swords? I love the sound it made when you like busted it out. It sounded like a lightsaber, like an exploding crystal or something. It was great. So they're about 6. These are about 6, a little under 6 for the original prints. Let's go ahead and take a look at the reprints. So relatively significantly cheaper than Purple. I think Purple is probably a little bit more powerful, maybe popular one. But 6 for the original prints, and for the 2018 Megaton reprints, these are going to be about almost, not quite, but almost half price. They're about $4. So leave it up to player preference, and kind of leave it up to you guys to make a decision. If you guys are interested in this deck, it's definitely seen a relatively significant decrease in value. So maybe you guys want to get on that. Next is going to be Charge of the Light Brigade. This card is like ridiculously expensive. I'm really caught up between the Stardust Overdrive Special Edition Super Rare promo or the Astral Pack 5 Super Rare. They're relatively holding some relatively good value from kind of like these lowly sets that they're from. But this card is like ancient as crap. There's only 7 prints. These last 4 don't even count. They're like common and just like the crap of the crap gold that no one's going to pay attention to, because that's just literally everything wrong with gold in one single piece of cardboard. But the original secret rares and all their glorious, amazing, deep secret rare coils, they're like, it's $40 right off the bat. I love Light Sworns so much. I love mixing Light Sworns with Shaddolls. I love mixing Light Sworns with like Chaos. And Raikou is actually like is my favorite, and I think one of the most diverse Light Swarms in the game. And I really like it, especially the first edition original super rares, which are going for relatively great price points. If you guys want to check that out later on as well. But the first page has no first editions. They start off at around 40 bones, and it's been a while since I've looked into the first edition prints of this. I can't even imagine. I think it was like a couple $100 for the first edition prints, which, you know, it's about 154, and then it trickles all the way up to roughly almost around 200 bones before we hit the last page for this card. So this is just an insanely like good engine card, and it's just one of those old cards from a really infamous set, the Duelist Genesis. I believe, if I have my history correct, this was the set that donned Synchro. So it's a transition set which just holds amazing collector's value because of the history that it holds. Next is going to be Inzectors. I love Inzectors. This deck it's been dead forever. It got just like annihilated on the Forbidden Ban list a long time ago, several years. And it got a couple things released, but not really enough to really get it to take off the launch pad and actually do some pretty great things. I definitely think this has potential to do some really fun things. I love the artwork of all these cards. Hornet specifically, still to the day being a solo print. Order of Chaos is an extremely old set. There's a lot of good cards that came out of that set. It was a really big fan favorite set, in my opinion. And for years and years and years, I've been collecting first edition prints of this. More specifically because the artwork and just the Order of Chaos was a really fun set. And it's old now, and overall that it's a solo print. This is the only way that you can get this card, and this is like a critical card. Like, you need to run 3 of these pretty much in this deck for it to be, you know, as devastating as it can be. And the average price has pretty much been like $3 to $5 has been like the price point that I've paid for this card throughout the years, and it's still relatively holding that price point. But you can see here, there's like, it's really been chewed up bad on the market. There used to be several pages here. There's only 2 pages now, and you know, the majority of them are single stacks, except for this 3 of. But no one really cares about that because it's an unlimited. So, Inzectors, ladies and gentlemen, it's a cool thing. I don't know if you guys remember. This is a really relatively older. Again, this was kind of, I think Insectors was like the same era of like wind-ups. It was like Dino Rabbit and Dark World and like wind-ups and Insectors, and I think Mermill Atlantean came a little bit later than that. But really cheap cards all around. We got a couple ultimate hit rares here. And Hornet is really the best one in my opinion. And then of course the Astral Pack 1 Centipedes are a little bit more expensive now. They're a couple dollars. They used to be like under a dollar for the longest time, but probably just got a little limited as people started to notice that this card is really cool and super rare and well needed card for the deck and all that. But I really like Insectors. It's been a really long time since I showcased them, so I just wanted to shine a little light, give a little love to Insectors. And then next is going to be just a generic glance at Dark World stuff. I'm an avid Dark World player, and I just wanted to kind of showcase this deck core in general. So gold right now for the highest rarities. A lot of great rarities this card, more specifically this from the Ultimate Rare version, dawning out of the original set, Elemental Energy. This is seeing some obscene exponential growth. You can see here the first print here, first edition is about 51, and it kind of just trickles up after that. There's only 2 pages of this card, and it bottoms out at about 100 plus. So pretty insane for that. Really quick, I just want to do again a quick glance at some of the other Dark World support cards. And of course, there's stuff, right now, I just searched Dark World. Of course, there's other stuff that you can run in Dark World, like Reckless Greed or like Drag Down to the Grave. They don't specifically have Dark World in the name title. They're not going to come up here. But of course, we got stuff like Gold, talked about Dark World Dealings, Grapha. I personally don't much care. These hold ridiculously high price points. I don't know why. I think personally they're really ugly. I don't like Duelist League promo stuff. I mean, if that's your thing, that's cool, player preference. I personally like the first edition original ultra rares from the structure deck, because the structure deck is just insanely old now, and it's just the OG print of Grapha, and Grapha completely changed the game for this deck. Silva has an ultimate print as well. That'll probably populate here pretty soon, which is probably holding some great price value. Let's go ahead and look at the Draw Power card of the deck, or Draw Power Monster Brow. Really great artwork, an amazing rarity as an ultimate again. I'm pretty sure Elemental Energy was the dawning set, that the genesis of Dark World cards, if I'm remembering correctly. And Unlimiteds are about 16 bones. First edition is 50 bones, then it goes to 80. Only 2 pages on the market for this, so you're going to be paying a lot of green for this deck max rarity. I bought this deck max rarity a long time ago. I think it was in 2013, the beginning of 2013, January 2013. I bought a max rarity deck for a lot of money off eBay back in the day when I was a young airman in the Air Force, and I, first time having some kind of money. So I went and bought Yu-Gi-Oh cardboard. That's what you do when you're a 20-year-old kid. Money well spent. Here is the Ultimate Rare version of Silva. So it looks like gold is a little bit more. I feel a lot of players prefer Silva because its secondary effect is a little bit better per se, depending on the game state. Unlimiteds alone here are insanely more cheaper. They're $5, so really not anything to be concerned about. And then there's only 4 pages on the market. First edition is going to be about 21. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like Silva and gold, they kind of run side by side. They're kind of parallel. I personally like gold more, just more specifically because the artwork. I like the artwork more. I really do like the secondary effect of Silva. I just think it's very, very interesting. They're both ultimate rares. They're both from the same set. They're both the same age. But gold is literally more than double the price point of Silva for the Ultimate Rare First Edition. So that's kind of interesting to take of note. Of course, you have Lucent. This still to the day is a solo print, super rare, dawning out of Primal Origin randomly. There was another Dark World card that we got. We didn't get it yet. It's going to be the Phantom Chaos or Chaos Impact Phantom. I don't know. Whatever the next couple new core sets is. There's I think it's a magic card. There's a magic card that I'm really excited about, and the name slips my mind right now. But Dark World is just great. We had that stent where we had Danger Dark World, and Danger is another just amazing deck core. The engine behind that is just so generic, and there's amazing draw power, and just how like every monster has like a built-in, basically upstart goblin is just so insane to me. Some secret rares here. These are really great too. This video has already been extremely long, so I'm gonna kind of cut short here. Unfortunately, I don't want to make these videos. I've been trying to make videos as close to 30 minutes as possible. I forgot to start my timer, so I'm kind of all out of whack here. But there's an ultra rare and a super rare version of Gates, which is really cool. And, you know, of course, secret, I would not disregard. The ultimate rares of Brow looks really great, but I definitely would not disregard the secret rare versions of Brow. These are very much, again, specifically for the first editions, again, from the infamous Legendary Collection 4. Really great reprint set. And really quickly, these are about 3-ish, 4. So relatively affordable, 5+ pages on the market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the secret versions of Snow. I would also not disregard the original first edition super rares from the structure decks. These secret rares do look better. I do like the secret rares as well. But I definitely, these cards are so good, and the Dark World engine is, in my opinion, is really splashable and diverse, and you can mix Dark World in a lot of different stuff. So these are really valuable to me personally. And they're about $2, so these are still really cheap too, and there's about 4 pages on the market. So really, really great stuff. If you guys don't know about Dark World, I would do some research, look into them. Really great artwork, really cool effects, and just an all-around fun Dark Fiend deck. Definitely one of the original OG Dark Fiend decks for me personally, and one of my all-time fan favorites. Like anti-meta Dark World, Shaddolls. Shaddolls has kind of been like incorporated. I used to play Shaddolls. My thing was Satellar Knights, but those are just to name some few decks that I really, really like, some of the White Mexicans' personal favorites. I have social media. The link is going to be below. If you guys want to message me on Facebook, that's going to be the easiest way to get a hold of me. I would love to hear from each and every one of you guys. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a part of my life for almost 2 decades now. It's by far my greatest hobby and passion. And it's extremely important to have things that you love, that you care about, and that you can work hard in life. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just such a beautiful resource for people to have an out, to just kind of get lost in and have positivity and friendship and investments. And there's just so much that goes around this game that is just so healthy and offers so much to anyone who wants to get into this game. And I think that's a really beautiful and special thing. I hope that you guys, I don't even really know what to say right now. I'm kind of losing my train of thought. I'm kind of all over the place. It's been kind of an interesting day. But thank you so much for watching these videos. Just the sheer fact that people are out there listening, watching these videos, and that I have the opportunity to push out this communication to you guys makes me feel amazing. And I love making videos. I really hope you guys are enjoying this content as much as I am creating it and pushing it out to you guys. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I'll see you in the next video.